and then all I hear about is Olympic pay is shit. So,
right. It doesn't pay great.
That's what I've read. So, what the heck?
Yeah, I think.
Snoop Dogg, my man needs a raise.
Yeah,
give him some bonus money.
What's
come
up
on,
with that? Yeah, I think I might get these numbers wrong, but for a gold medal, you get like $37,500. For silver, it's like $22,000, and a bronze is $15,000.
So you rely like on sponsors, I'm guessing, and people that
Yeah. So and also sponsors, which are hard to come by for the men, to be honest. But sponsors, and then our national team pays us a monthly stipend as long as you're a part of the national team. So as long as you maintain your status, I guess you get a payment from them. I mean, and it's not a lot. I mean, it's enough to live, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, you definitely don't do gymnastics for the money.
It's truly for the love of the game.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. We took a little detour. You said prelims, worst meet of your life. Kind of went here. We're making people stay. That we're gonna make them stay to the end for the good stuff right here. I don't really understand the full like scoring structure, point structure.
Yeah,
you're doing all 6 events.
Yep.
Tell me how. Like just how to qualify, how to win, or it's obviously solo, it's obviously team. Just kind of narrate.
Yeah, so everything you do in prelims qualifies you for all finals for the rest of the Olympics. So if you have a bad prelims like I did, then you don't qualify for any finals, and I didn't. So, but our team did well enough to qualify for team finals. So team finals was my last competition. So going into prelims, my goals were to make all around finals and high bar finals, and just didn't work out for me, I guess. But so yeah, the way that the team finals works is you have a team of 5, and you put 3 up on each event. So I competed every event except floor.
Really?
Yeah, and team finals. So, and then do you want me to explain like the scoring system?
I mean, you could go into that too.
Yeah. Okay. So like scoring system, you have your base start. So it's like start value is your total start value, and they're different for everyone depending on what routines you do. And then you have your deductions. So basically you do all the skills and you get all the value for the skills. That's your start value. You add that up, and then the judges will take their deductions, and then you subtract that, and then that's your final score. So you start with 10-0, and then each, you have 10 skills in each routine. And then with those 10 skills, you have to hit 4 element groups. So the element groups are basically just different types of skills.
Okay.
And you have to hit all 4 of those groups. It's not really a hard thing to do, but so you hit all those element groups. Those are worth 5/10 apiece. So basically your start value is at a 12.0. And then you add up the value of all the skills, and then that will come to, like, just say, for example, a 15.3. So 15.3 would be your start value. And then the judges, the whole routine, are taking deductions on your skills, and then they subtract that, and then that's your final score, say like a 13.7 or something like that.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go through the routines. I guess what's the last routine? Because you're going and everybody's going in each event, right?
Yeah.
And then the last time you go, I'm sure USA is going for gold, silver, or bronze.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, kind of talk about the order of the events and then lead us up.
Yeah, so we started, in prelims, we started on pommel horse, but in team finals, we ended on pommel horse. And pommel horse is one of those it can be 50-50, you know. That's probably one of our hardest events, just because it's not really a strength event. It's more of a technique, and it's more like controlling your nerves. I compare it, like, to the women's side, I compare it to beam, just because, like, for beam, you don't really have to be super strong. It's more technique and, you know, being able to control yourself, right? So kind of the same thing. So team finals, we started on rings, and we started super strong. Then the next event was vault. We ended up sticking 2 vaults. Paul Judo led us off, and then I went second, and I stuck my vault, which was awesome. And then, you know, we went throughout the rest of the meet all the way through floor with no falls, which is really awesome. And then, you know, going into pommel horse, that's the one where, I mean, you can really let a meet go on pommel horse. So Paul was up first. He nailed his routine. I went up second, and I wouldn't say I nailed my routine, but I stayed on and it was decent. So I landed and I went crazy because we had hit at that point 17 routines, which is really hard to do in a team competition. You rarely see people hit all of their routines. And then last guy up, you guys probably know him, the pommel horse guy, Steven Netterosic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen him. I've seen that. Yep.
The glasses guy. He takes his glasses off. I think everyone's calling him Clark Kent. He's a Superman.
He looks like him.
Yeah, he does. But yeah, so he finishes the competition on pommels, nails his routine, and we just go crazy because, I mean, we made it a point to not look at the scoreboard throughout the whole meet to just try to, focus on what we were doing. But I mean, when he hit and we knew that we had hit 18 for 18 routines, that hardly ever happens. We knew we had won a medal pretty much. So we just went crazy. It was awesome.
Yeah. I need to know.
All right.
Okay. This is what I'm saying. The people wanted to know. We had to make a wait for the end. You're sitting there. You're on pommel horse. This is your last time you're going to go for the whole entire Olympics.
Yep.
The country is like not on your back, but it's on 3 guys' backs for this event, for this medal. What is going through your mind as you're about to just hop on this pommel horse?
I mean, the same thing that's going through my mind at any competition. I think it's really important as an elite athlete to be able to, keep yourself in the moment and, control your mind. Because if you start thinking about the outcomes of what could happen, then you're taking yourself out of the present and you start worrying about, am I going to mess up? Oh, I can't mess this up. And you start putting that kind of pressure on yourself. It never really ends up good. So, I mean, before I go on pommel horse, I'm just basically just going through my routine in my head because at this point I've done it thousands of times and I know what it feels like. And I've hit a lot of my routines in practice, most of my routines in practice I was hitting. So, I like to tell myself, I mean, it doesn't really matter where you're at or what competition you're at. It's just another routine. It's the same thing I've done 1,000 times. So
yeah, I mean, it's another thing, easier said than done.
It definitely is. And it's very easy to let yourself get out of the moment and start thinking about things. But I mean, that's what I think separates, good athletes from, really high level elite ones, being able to do that. And it's a hard thing to do. And it's something that, I mean, I've definitely struggled with, but I feel like I've gotten the hang of it a little bit, pretty good, I think.
And that's what I think, people think that, oh, you were just born like that. I don't think that's the case a lot of times. It might be some, but I know me. I mean, I've struggled with it. It's a constant battle. I think, I think just like physical preparation, mental is just as important. I mean,
absolutely.
Mentally preparing yourself because especially after the injury or whatever it is, I mean, it's not like it's easy. For me, at least. It might be different for you, but I think it's definitely something you have to keep focus on and work on.
Absolutely. And I mean, we say in gymnastics, it's 90% mental, 10% physical. I mean, people will watch gymnastics and be like, oh, those guys are in the best shape. They're super buff. But that's not it at all. I mean, it is a little bit. I mean, you got to be in good shape, but I mean, you got to mentally be there to be able to perform when the time comes like that.
So, are there things, because you're not going to stay locked in mentally perfect every time. Do you have those things where, hey, I'm getting out of whack here, I'm kind of getting rattled? What are those things that you're like, okay, let me center back up?
Yeah, so, I mean, my dad kind of taught me this when I was younger and, coming up. He just said, and it's very simple, just short memory. So if I'm going through a competition and I mess up on my pommel horse routine, for example, and I know I've got 3 events left, I just got to forget about it. And it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier, but you've got to be able to put it to the back of your mind and focus on what you've got to do next. So that's why for me, like when I'm going through a competition, no matter how I'm doing, good or bad, if you've ever watched me compete, I don't like to really celebrate that often. I mean, the Olympics, after I was done with pommel horse, that was kind of an exception. Yeah. But I'm pretty, stoic face, I would say. I don't really celebrate. I land my dismount, salute to the judge, and then immediately I'm thinking about the next event and what I have to do to get ready for it. So you've got to be able to just put yourself in that sort of mindset where, you come up, you do your job. If you don't do your job and it ends up going wrong, it doesn't matter. You've still got more to do. So you can't let the bad performance affect what could potentially be a great performance on the next event.
And I wanted, because you rodeoed till you were 15, and maybe a little 16. I don't know the exact age. So you get a glimpse into these guys' life. Like this is the crazy part. Is we're talking to you about mental game. You competing at the Olympics. Mm-hmm. This dude right here tonight, December 5th, is competing for his. It's not the Olympics, but it's his Olympics. It's his Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's like and it's not just him. It's all events: bareback, saddle bronc, steer wrestling, team roping, calf roping, barrel racing. What do you see into the mental side of like the rodeo? The rodeo side of it.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same thing. I mean, and you can draw this from any sport. I mean, if you want to be a high level athlete, you've got to have the mental game. Mm-hmm. If you don't, then you're just not going to make it to a high level. So, I mean, I've been asked this question before, and I mean, gymnastics and rodeo are pretty different sports. And, I've been, blessed enough to kind of grow up in both of them. And I mean, they have their differences, but I think the similarity is just the competing aspect and learning how to compete. And how to have that mental mindset of putting yourself in the zone, as people say. Like, you got to be able to turn it on just like that. And that's with any sport, whether it's gymnastics, rodeo, baseball, basketball. You've got to be able to just turn your brain on and make it happen when it has to happen. So yeah.